I know it must seem like we say this every single Sunday, but Kagurabachi is actual fire. This shit is so peak. It's absolutely crazy, guys. Coming right off the heels of last chapter, Hokuzono decides to drop one of the sickest chapters we've ever seen. The buildup, the slow tension, and at the end, the final explosion. Guys, the flashback war arc is heating up, and I mean that literally, okay? This chapter is pure heat, guys. If you're not reading Kagurabachi, what are you doing? There is no better time to jump into the story now that we're here, finally in the war arc. And guys, I gotta tell you something, negotiations just broke down, okay? So we are heading to a full-scale war. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Today, we are talking Kagurabachi chapter 117. Guys, this chapter is a doozy. We get so much lore dropped on us, okay? Let's just jump right into the chapter, and you're gonna want to stick around to that end because at the end of this chapter, guys, some crazy stuff goes down, and the next chapter is gonna be off the charts, and this chapter is already crazy. All right, let's jump right into it. So coming off the heels of last week when we were introduced to Princess Soga and Chiaki, right, Chihiro's mom, we pick up with her again this chapter. And if you guys remember last chapter, she made it aware to everybody that was in the vicinity with one of her prophecies that they're gonna be having negotiations with the Shoku, right, on the island, right? This is, remember last chapter we ended with the Irishima talks, right? First page of this chapter, we get Princess Soga, and she's saying the meeting is gonna be extremely hostile, okay? So right off the bat, we know the meeting, it's not about to go as we expected, right? And then we got to the actual island, right? The Irishima talks, right? And we get a little introduction again of the Shoku, right? And how they popped up on the island, right? Even some people who went to the island, the Shoku attack from a distance. So everything about them is still relatively mysterious, right? There's not much information about them at all. And this is where we pick up with an unnamed character, right? And he's a survivor of the Shoku, it looks like, right? He's sitting in a wheelchair. My man's got both his legs chopped off, you know, like he must have went through some crazy shit on the Shoku, you know, on the island. But he's talking with this researcher, and they're theorizing where the Shoku come from, right? What their motives are, where they're descended from, right? So the guy who lost his legs, he's talking with this professor, and he says, you know, like, I was this close to them, like, they're Japanese. Like, I'm sure that these guys are Japanese, right? It's just a hunch. And then we get the story of the Soga clan, right? And it says, a long time ago, more than 1,000 years back, this land was ruled by a clan of sorcerers, and they were known as the Mikaboshi, right? And the Soga clan defeated them. But to this day, sorcery, it's still a strong influence in the country, in the society, right? And now, this is when the survivor and the professor, they start to connect the dots because they're asking questions. How is this related, right? And that's when one of the guys says, he's like, Southeastern Japan, you know? The Mikaboshi clan, they survived, you know, and they inhabited this island, and this is all thousands of years ago, right? And they're saying that, you know, like they have the power to control like insects and stuff, right? So they're basically just going back and forth about where these guys are coming from, right? And then this is where we get a big drop because, you know, the guy says they were driven off the land into the ocean where they lurked for over a millennia, and they developed their own civilization, right? The guy's like, no, wait, that's impossible, you know? And then the guy says, unless they were aided by a bizarre force beyond our understanding. And as you guys know, the whole reason that they're even having these talks that they want to go to the island is for the Datenseki, right? So these guys have been over on the island for a millennia, thousands of years. They've just been cultivating this Datenseki themselves, right? Like, no wonder they're sick. The guy's like, they were hella strong, you know? And then they say Shokoku has 12 times the amount of Datenseki found in Japan, right? So the guy's like, here's my theory. Mikaboshi's descendants are the inhabitants of Shokoku over the course of 1,000 years. They created their own civilization, aided by the Datenseki, a force beyond our understanding. So these guys are going up against like an advanced civilization almost, right? And even though they're an advanced civilization, they do seem pretty peaceful for the most part. Well, that was my thinking before this chapter, right? Like, okay, like these guys, they live on the island. They kind of just want to be left alone to their own devices, you know? Like, the Datenseki must be too powerful, and that's why they're probably just trying to safeguard it, right? Like, they don't want the people of Japan coming in and trying to militarize it, all types of foolishness with it, right? But the end of this chapter, guys, it really turns my entire theory just sideways on its head, because these Shokoku, these guys are animals, bruh. It's crazy work, right? So after we get the lore drop that the Mikaboshi, those guys, they are the ones that have been living on the island, we flip right back over to the island, right? The Irishima talks, and this is where the burn, it's starting to go, because 12 p.m., the appointed time of the meeting, the Japanese delegation arrives on Irishima in an ironclad ship, right? So you got the Japanese envoys, and they're on the island now, right? And the guy says, you know, he's like, a table and seating, how thoughtful, you know? And they're like, they aren't here yet, right? And then we cut back to the researchers, right? And he's saying in the letter from Shokoku, and the guy on the phone is like, yes, like, we're certain it's them, the Mikaboshi. Like, there's no disparity, no hesitation, no doubt. Like, it is 100% thousand them. And the guy even says, he's like, are you sure you still want to go through with this meeting with the information that we have? Like, these people are you know, they're not to really be trifled with. Like, are you sure you want to do this, right? And the guys, like, the envoys, they're like, yeah, like, we're gonna do that. Like, if we refuse to talk, then, you know, it's gonna come to war. That's it. That's the only other option we have. So we gotta try. And we see the envoys, and they're waiting, right? And boom, this is when they just blow up the ship, right? That the Japanese envoys are on. They blow up the ship, and then these guys pull up on the beach, right? The envoys are like, yo, what is happening? You know? And boom, they just smoke everybody on all the Japanese envoys. They smoke them. And while this is happening, we're getting the professor on the phone, and he's like, the Mikaboshi, the Shokoku, have monopolized the Datenseki for ages, okay? Now it's like there's some phenomenon that's causing it to surface, but he's like, perhaps the rock is holy to them, and they don't want the Japanese to have it, you know? Which is what I was saying, like, they're just trying to safeguard it to themselves. He's like, there are various possible reasons, but at any rate, a clan that was once abolished has reemerged, wielding tremendous power, right? And that's when they blow the ship up. And these guys pull up on the beach, and they're aura farming, right? And there's like this fish behind them. I don't even know what it is. Earlier in the chapter, the guy said the Mikaboshi, they be controlling insects, but this isn't an insect behind them. This looks like, I don't know, like a demon shark whale or something You know, like, it's crazy work. And these guys are just standing there, and boom, they take out all the envoys. And then the leader, well, this must be the leader of the Shokoku, but he sits down, you know, he leaves one guy alive. And the envoy, he's shaking, you know, he's like, God damn, you know, he's just looking around, he's starting to hyperventilate. The guy's like, deep breaths, you know, we'll be needing you. And this is when the Shokoku, they issue their demands. And it's 3 demands that they have, right? Japan must hand over Irishima, the island. Japan must relinquish the dead Tenseki extracted from Irishima. And Japan must cede Chiba, Kanagawa, and Tokyo areas that could yield Tenseki veins in the coming millennia. So all their demands are stifling the Japanese from doing anything with the Tenseki at all. Like, they don't want them to have access to it, nothing. All the Tenseki that they have, they got to give it back. And they want them to hand over areas that could just have the possibility of yielding that Tenseki in the future. Like, these guys are not joking. Like, they are trying to hoard it to themselves, right?
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
The guy, the envoy, he's like, that's impossible. Like, you know, there's no way we're going to. And the Shokoku, the leader, he's like, I believe we have made ourselves clear. No compromises, no nothing. If you refuse, we will use force, right? And this is when we get a little info dump that 4 sorcerers were aboard the ship that the Shokoku just blew up. Hirotoga Soga, of course. Togo Shiba, all right? Yashinojo Sogo, and Shuji Mashiro, okay? The 4 big dogs, because, of course, they're not... I'm pretty sure this was a meeting with the royal family, right? I don't know if it was the royal family that showed up or just envoys of the royal family. Like, I don't think that was the royal family. But regardless, anyway, only 1 survived, right? And we didn't even know what was happening with these 4. We didn't even know they were on the ship, right? Because it just got blown up. But this is when they pull up, you know, Toga, Shiba's got that teleporting ability. Yo, Shiba is lit. Yo, Shiba is, I don't know what to say, guys. Shiba is sick. The guy is constantly aura farming, you know? After the Shokoku leader is trying to strong arm the envoy into the demands, right? Shiba pulls up and he's like, go home, please. You know, he pulls up with all 4 of the big dogs, you know, Mashiro and the other 2 guys. And all of them have just surrounded the leader of the Shokoku. But he still got like 3 guys with him too, so it's not like he's dolo. But at the end of the chapter, at 12:02, the talks dissolve due to a preemptive strike by Shokoku. Thus, the battle on Irishima begins. Guys, this was crazy work. I think, nah, I might be wrong, guys. I'm pretty sure the talk started at 12 p.m., okay? 12 p.m., and they ended at 12:02. Literally 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and it's like war. That's it. It's war. You know, like, this is where we're about to get, like, some fire shit, you know? I think what's gonna happen, now we're gonna get into a little theorizing time, okay? What looks to be the case is that there's about to be all-out war with the Shokoku, right? And it seems like if I'm right, you know, the Japanese, you know, the Soga clan, whatever, they're gonna go against the Shokoku and they're gonna get smoked, you know, like they're gonna get crushed. And that's gonna force Rokahira to introduce the enchanted blades, right? Well, we already knew that, but I don't know. Like, I think Mashiro's probably might, I don't know, Mashiro might die, bruv. Have we seen Mashiro at all? Like, it might be like a bunch of people die, and like right at the very end, you know, when they're like about to lose, like Rokahiro, like he brings in the first enchanted blade, you know, Swordmaster's enchanted blade, you know, and then he just starts like rolling 3, 4, 5 more out, and then by that time, like they just completely turn the tide of the battle, you know. But we still got a little bit to go to see what's going on. Last chapter we ended with Subaru, and he was feeding Rokihira, and it looks like they're about to go do their own thing, right? Shiba's over here protecting the envoy, and there's about to be a big battle on the island, right? Like, there's about to be a huge battle. Their boat is blown up. Like, I don't know what's about to happen here, you know? Like, guys, Kagurabachi, man, Hokuzono, and oh my goodness, like, the slow burn chapters, like, this guy is a master of writing. Like, I cannot lie, I can't glaze enough. Hokuzono is absolutely crazy. Kagurabachi is like top 3 right now, guys. When this gets animated, y'all are not ready. Y'all are not ready for this, because this shit is fire. This shit is gas. His artwork, the story, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to go do some research, guys. If there's something deeper with this Mikaboshi clan, you got to let me know. Drop it down in the comments below. You know, I'm not super duper familiar with Japanese folklore. You know, like, I'm gonna have to go do some research to see like what kind of symbolism we got going on here, you know. But Hokuzono, man, like, if you guys are not reading Kagurabachi, then just, you know what, you don't even have to read it. Just hit that subscribe button, because I am breaking down chapters every single Sunday, guys, and Kagurabachi is only getting better from here. Okay, let's all say a little prayer. Hopefully Kagurabachi goes on for like 500 chapters, because this shit is gas, my boys. This shit is gas. But let me know your theories down below, guys. What do you think's about to happen next? We're about to get a big battle. We're about to see a forging of an enchanted blade. I wonder when Samura's gonna get brought in, when Akamura's gonna get brought in. Like, there's so much people that we're still missing, you know. But the story is building up, guys. With this latest chapter, it's all out war. So I'm only expecting it to get crazier and crazier and crazier from here. And mind you, we still haven't even seen Chihiro in like 20 chapters now, guys. Kagurabachi, it's the shit, man. I'm speechless. But thank you guys so much for watching. Drop your theories down below. Drop your comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will be back with another one.